No drinking means more money. Everybody should have a six-pack. Oh, I don't need a six-pack. I don't need a nice car. I don't need a nice house. But if you could choose and you would still be able to be you, what would you do? My life changed when I moved. I remember walking, like when I said goodbye to my family and stuff, and I walked through the gate. Deep down, subconsciously, I knew that was goodbye.
So what's your next step, Simon? Your next 5 years, what does it look like? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Ref Experience. I'm Evan Antzulis, and today we're joined by a very special guest. We're joined by Simon Thomsen, CEO of Power and one of the most respected voices in the fitness industry. Simon, thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time. For people who do not know you yet, can you kind of give a background of who you are and what exactly do you do?
Straight into it, man. 32 years old, been in the game for, I would say, most of my life, and came up as a high-level competitive football athlete from age of 5 to 12. Had a bit of a sidetrack in my life. We can get into that story. And then I really went into fitness when I was 15, and then started competing as a high-level professional, not professional, but like highest level athlete you can do in fitness. It's not really paid for that well. From the age of 19 to 22. And then since then, I really just worked in the space, moved overseas, Australia. I lived in the US, live in Bali now, and really just built a business for the last 8 years now.
That's inspiring. Was there a moment, Simon, that kind of clicked for you and said, hey, we're going to take a move into this discipline-based approach that you preach? Was there a specific moment in your story that persuaded that?
Yeah, it was, going back to what happened from the age of 12 to 19 really was, I sort of like lost a little bit of the joy for playing football. And I think it was a year and a half of just sort of like fucking around, like you're 12, 13, you get into trouble. And that really escalated into drugs. So from the age of 13, 14 to the age of 19, I was quite heavily involved with drugs. And that really led me down a path of just destroying my sense of self, sense of, discipline, not showing up. I was quitting basically all of year 9, all of year 10, and 1 year of business school. So 3 years of me basically disappearing from anything called normal life. And that was really, I guess, the detriment I did to my spiritual self, that I had to like really rebuild from there. And that's when I used fitness and discipline and rolling my sleeves up and getting back to work and really start working on myself.
For the young man or woman out there that's in your shoes now, what do you tell them to take that discipline-based approach from where you used to be to where you are now? What's that flip that can switch right now, or the new year coming up? What's one action they can take in the next week?
I think the most powerful thing any human being can do right away is really just as simple as it sounds. Get honest, like really just get honest with yourself, because there's no greater driver than pain, right? There's no greater driver than discomfort, dissatisfaction, like desperation almost. That's why you see a lot of these super successful people. They all either come from like a really bad upbringing, or they've gone through some shit. They really created that hunger and desire inside them because it was just like they hit rock bottom, if you can say. So for the person that might not be there yet right now, like you need to fabricate that. You need to basically, let's just use fitness as an example because that's where we are, heading into. It's January. Everybody wants to be healthy and getting in shape. It's really just like I would just strip yourself naked right now, go into the mirror tonight when you have your shower, and literally just stand there for like however long time you have to stand there and truly look at yourself. Everything. Turn to the side, see your man boobs, falling out, the love handles. Like really get disgusted with yourself. All angles. And what can you say? Flavor it up. Look at it and almost like speak to yourself. What the fuck? Like, why did you let yourself go like that?
Yeah.
Right? And then right away afterwards, then you go out, pen and paper, and then you literally just draw a line down, and then you write, what were all the things that came to mind? All the pain.
Right.
Right? all like really get it down on pen and paper, and that becomes your what can you say, your back against the wall moment. And then you, simply on the right side, you just write down what are the opposite. What do you want to look like? What do you want to feel like? What character traits have you let yourself go with? And what do you want to develop as a result of that? What's the opposite? What's the vision going to look like? And then you have you have two sides to look at. And that's really the beginning. Now we can talk about what's going to happen afterwards and next month and next month and next month, but that would be the beginning point for any person. You have to fabricate pain. You have to fabricate a moment of I'm done, and that's why I like that, like draw a line in the sand, like piece of paper thing, and then be like, what am I letting go of? What am I saying goodbye to? And then where am I going next?
Got it. And so, what's the biggest reason or struggle that people need to overcome to actually get healthy? Because you're taking this accountability-based approach, but what's the reason why people are struggling to get healthy or to get lean, build muscle, lose fat?
It's priorities, you know. It's environmental. Like you can see, you're from New York, right?
Yeah.
You've been in Singapore now for how long?
5 months.
5 months, yeah. And you've been in Bali now for what? Not 5 weeks, but 5 days more.
Something like that, yeah.
So I can just ask yourself, how do you feel the difference just in these three locations in terms of the way you think, the things you spent your time on, and really how you're operating as a human being? Because that's really what people are going through.
Right. I think it's night and day, to be honest with you. Kind of like a self-answering question, because community is the biggest thing. And I think when it comes to you and your community, your power community, I could see how you keep your clients accountable and how they then keep each other accountable. And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes down to community. You know, making sure you're doing your daily tasks or habits, whatever they may be, but then also coming back and logging it, whether it's in an app or whether it's to your friend. I think that's really huge. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's just like if I went into, I don't know, what's a metaphor, you know? What's a thing? What's a state in the US that nobody wants to be in?
Ohio.
Ohio, yeah. And it's,
The Ohio fans out there are gonna are gonna mess me up for this one.
so let's say you go into Ohio, right?
Yeah.
And it's winter right now.
Right.
After Christmas, you know, like it's just dark. Nobody wants to be there. And you go in and you find a guy that's been out of shape his whole life, okay? Then you present him with the offer of like, okay, I'm gonna give you $10 million right now, and in the next 12 months, you're gonna strip away 40 pounds.
Yeah.
And if you don't hit it, by the way, you owe me $10 million.
Right.
So that's the extreme metaphor for why people do things and why people don't do things. It's pain versus pleasure. It's reward versus punishment. And it's really just back to the mirror thing again. People are just living in this, like I always use that when we speak to people. People, 90%, 95% of people will never change. Never. They will just kind of like bounce around and have a good idea and then like be pulled back in again, because that's how the mind works.
Right. So people never change. Is it more of a mindset thing, a food problem, or an overall identity issue that people are facing to actually get lean and lose weight?
Yeah, well, ultimately it is an identity thing, but
Right.
what's downstream from identity is, you know, your habits and your routines, and what's downstream from that is your environment, right?
Yeah.
You're a product of your environment. You're shaped, you know, by the thinking of others, like by the culture, by the climate, by everything. Like you go back to New York and it's dark and it's cold, you think slightly different, right?
Totally.
About everything. So, yeah, so I think there's not really any fancy answer to that. So if you live in Ohio or if you live anywhere else in the world where there's not like, it's not obvious for you to, you know, be inspired and be motivated and be driven and stuff, well, the best thing you can look at is really just online. Like you and I, we both follow Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, I didn't know who he was back then. I was watching a motivational clip, and it was Mark Cuban back then. I didn't know that. And I was like, fuck, that was a really good clip. And then I would start searching on YouTube. And then Grant Cardone popped up, but I thought it was Mark Cuban. And then I started watching his thing and figuring out later on it wasn't the same person from the thing. And that's how I kind of like stumbled across Grant Cardone. But the whole point with that is like I was same thing I do with someone like Alex Emoji right now. Is the two people that I do that with, it's literally just consume everything.
Consume everything.
Just consume everything and just believe in that path because there's too many of the bells that make sense for me that, okay, I'm just going to go in this direction right now.
Right. And when you're going towards a specific direction, how do you sort of build discipline in somebody who's never had it before, who says, okay, I've tried keto, I've tried carnivore, I've tried all these types of diets, but how do you instill in someone discipline, or how do they instill it in themselves, better said, with your coaching?
Well, if you're talking about what we really do in a nutshell with clients
Yeah.
is again, we're building steps and we're building new behaviors. I'm always using the analogy of like if you had two bank accounts, right? Or you're having a bank account, you're either depositing or you're withdrawing from that bank account. That's really what happened to most people over their life. They just have two bank accounts that's completely out of balance, given into too many things for too many years, and not enough self discipline and not enough doing what they're supposed to do. So the work really just needs to do this. Very simple, black and white. It's just start pouring bricks into the other basket, pouring things into the other account, and then the balance, which is discipline, will then starts to become habitual,
Right.
easier, and feel like discipline. Oh, I'm a disciplined person right now. Yeah, you just done things for a long time right now,
That's a great analogy.
right?
So when it comes to getting into equilibrium and the discipline starts strengthening, how have you seen that discipline positively cascade into areas like business, family, friendships, other areas of life other than just physical appearance? How does that whole ecosystem work?
Yeah, there's a good saying, you can't 10x one part of your life without 10xing others, right? So it's like it all spills over. Why? Because you're the vehicle, right? Like you what's the other saying? Like wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you go, there you are. Meaning you will always show up in whatever you're doing, whether that is business, health, family, spirituality. You will always have you with you in it. Your habits, your mindset, your thinking and stuff. So yeah, that's why I love the fitness part because it's such a individual, controllable thing that you can either do or don't do today. You don't have to wait 10 years to be successful, quote unquote, in business. You can be successful today.
Right. I think there's a quote in the Bible that says, as a man thinketh, he becomes. And it reminds me of what you're saying because if you're constantly surrounding yourself with an environment and a coach and a community that inspires your goals, it's going to be a lot easier. So, piggybacking off of that, how important is structure or coaching or a daily routine in making sure you're successful as opposed to trying to get the outcomes solely by yourself?
Yeah, there's what do they say? We don't really need to be taught that many new things.
Right.
We just need to be reminded about them, right? And that's really what coaching and accountability is in a nutshell. It's just I don't need to yeah, there is some education in terms of like eat this instead of that, or if you train this way, you're not gonna get there. But the foundation most people understand is just harder to do and harder to do consistently. So coaching is really just stringing it together long enough, right? Picking it back up again. Don't worry, like changing perspective. So again, you can even out the bucket. Like that's probably the biggest metaphor for any transformation is just you shift from this is what I used to do, used to think, used to look like, to now this is what I now look like, feel like, and do. It's a shift in like I used to think this way, now I'm doing this, right?
Right.
It's like I don't go back again.
And if there was one uncomfortable truth that people needed to hear in your eyes, what would that be? Very direct.
Most people don't change unless they experience either severe pain or trauma. Severe pain or trauma. And it's not even just something I think or believe, it's scientifically proven. People only change most of the, like 99% of the time when it hurts. Even high performers, you think like they're already the best in the world and they want to get to that 1% better. It's something inside them that is so like painful. Michael Jordan, great example, the best of the best. How did he become better and better and better? It's by putting his mindset into something that happened that day or last game, or fucking this guy in the crowd said that. It's like there's a push. So the downside to that is like most people won't change.
That reminds me of an article I read once where it said, being financially unstable is hard, being rich is hard. Being out of shape is hard, being fit is hard. So it's kind of a double-edged sword of it's hard, but you much rather be in shape than not.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And I think that's important, given your story and kind of given all the success stories that you mentioned. But what interests me the most is how you continue to push every single day. You know, despite you being in shape, you continue to train, sign up for marathons, and push your own limits. So as we head into the new year, what are your goals, Simon? What do you want to accomplish? How are you going to continue to push yourself?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. Yeah. On that note, yeah, I signed up for a marathon basically with 6 weeks notice. So I'm gonna fly to Austin, Texas here in February and then run a marathon. And it's one of those things like that is really like the essence of me is that right there in that moment of like I've probably been thinking about it subconsciously about challenging myself.
Right.
And then you're being put on it and then you're like, you just do it. And then is the story in itself about doing it, 6 weeks leading up and having to prep and stuff right now. Like, I am so excited every single time I go for a run right now.
Oh, man.
Like, thrilled. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, it's a positive self-realization every single time. It's, again, back to that whole thing. It's like, fuck, yeah, you're doing it. Do it. 10K, 12K, 20K. So you are feeding that identity of high performance.
That's awesome.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like you know when I spoke on stage in October at Sales Mastery, which was the biggest crowd I've been speaking for, is 600 people, mortgage broker, real estate agents. It's like right now, Simon, behind like backstage, is the moment you get to practice high performance. Not behind the screen, not in your freaking content, not anything. Right now, why? Because you're jumping right now into something that is fearful.
Yeah.
Scary.
I was watching a podcast, The Diary of the CEO, and he was saying that reading about the thing is not doing the thing. Talking to your friend about the thing is not doing the thing.
Yeah.
Dancing, watching videos of TikTok about the thing is not doing the thing. Only doing the thing is doing the thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's really powerful because you need to put in the reps. You need to go on those 10Ks, 20Ks, 30Ks so that when that day comes, you know that every time you ran, you put up a vote for the person that you're becoming and who you are. And so how do you structure your daily life? Like, what is non-negotiables in the day in the life of Simon? Is it training? Is it running? Is it eating clean? What is it?
I would probably say maybe from the outside, people think like I'm doing a lot of different things, but I've really just over the years like fine-tuned that, I'm going to bed pretty much at the same time every day, and therefore I wake up naturally without an alarm. So I would go to bed before 10 o'clock every single night, so then I will naturally wake up right before 6 o'clock, all right? That's probably the biggest hack, right? Because the compound effect of that energy and that feel and that headspace, it's like you can walk through walls every day. Like I'm jumping out of bed every single morning, freaking excited to attack the day. And you cannot do that if you're burning the candle in both ends. You can do it for an extended period of time, but I would probably say that's the longevity decision and non-negotiable for me. And I will do it for the rest of my life to, most extent. Then I will wake up in the morning and I will do my morning routine, which is, I walk to the gym or go for a walk. Like I move my body first thing in the morning. I always hydrate. And then here in Bali, we obviously have sauna and ice bath, so I can jump into a cold plunge literally within 5 minutes after waking up. Wake up, go into the sauna, meditate or visualize, stretch, and then I will just have my coffee, and then I will write down my goals, and then that's really it. So within 60 minutes, I've done that, and I'm back at the desk, and I'm ready to attack today.
That's huge.
Yeah,
That's huge.
yeah.
And so, as we go into the new year and people are writing down their own goals, visualizing who they want to be at the end of the year, what can people do differently and make sure they don't fail through on those goals? Because, gym memberships are the highest in January, February, and then you start to see a tick down. But what's going to keep, our viewers, stable and making sure they hit and crush their goals through the year?
Yeah, it's a great question, because I think it's relatable to so many people.
Right.
So we do processes like that inside a program. So it always starts with, what's the vision? Like, what's the bigger picture for this year? You know what I mean? So if you had to, like, let's just again say health, right? Like, you've been out of shape for many years. So like the big vision for this year should be your health. Your health is your number one priority, and everything else comes as a downstream from that. Your business is going to get better. You're going to have more energy with your family and time. So the big bottleneck, the big domino, as they say in business and stuff, it has to be X, right? So whatever that is for you, and everything else becomes a positive downstream from that. Then we need to break it into projects. So we need to break it into, what are the targets? What are the goals, right? What are this month, next month, this quarter, next 6 months from now? What are the targets I want to get into? So again, using health. Big vision is, I want to be in the best shape of my life, age 45, next year at my birthday. I want to be 12% body fat. I want to feel younger than ever before. I want to be lean, mean, and full of energy. Okay, that's my vision, so that I can ... Right? Positive benefits. Now, what's my targets? Then you back into it with plans. So I'm 20 kilo out of shape right now. Okay, by February, I need to be there. I need to be there by March. I need to be there by June. Now, when we have these targets in place, then you back it into it with routines and habits. So what is my non-negotiables? So it becomes undeniably that I want to go from 100 kilos to 95 kilos by the end of January. 5 kilos this month. What do I need to do? Now, if you don't know what you need to do, that's where you hire, a professional that can put a plan and these sort of things in place for you. But it's about, what are the non-negotiables that I can do? Start where you are right now, and then move into, like, let's say you're on the couch and you don't do anything. What are the 2 or 3 non-negotiables you can start doing this month here? Maybe you don't go to the gym straight away because it's going to burn you out straight away, and you don't really know what to do, and you feel clumsy, and you're going to have a bad experience with it, right? You're going to burn out in 2 weeks. Maybe you just go for that 10,000 steps every single day. Morning walk, after work, 30 minutes, and that's all you do. Boom, activity done, right? See if you can touch your toe every single night, get some stretching and mobility in, that's it. Food, dial it in, 3 meals a day, and then you focus on whatever you need to eat there. That becomes your non-negotiables. Every day I need to do these things.
And so when training or even walking, for some people out there, gets uncomfortable, what mindset keeps you coming back to those habits and showing up regardless of how you feel?
Because, like if it gets hard.
Yeah, personally, like, even if I'm lifting heavy in the gym, sometimes I'll struggle to, lift the weight that I want to lift, or even show up to the gym. What can people do, or what mindset can come, hey, I need to show up to the gym today? Like, let's get real.
Yeah, it's progress. Progress, as Tony Robbins says, progress equals happiness. So you don't need to be 20 kilo lighter right now. You just need to see that something is happening, right? And sometimes people, they get very bogged down with, like, I'm not losing any weight right now, or something happened, and then you get discouraged, you get dismotivated, and then you quit after week 3 because you lost a bunch of weight and now you don't lose any weight. So, yeah, again, there's a good saying, you need to figure out more ways of measuring success, right? Figuring out more ways of measuring success. So that could be, you are, again, tracking the amount of workouts you're doing. So if I just hit 3 workouts, you know what I mean, and I didn't lose weight this week, that's still success, because it will come week 2 and week 3 and week 4. So, progress is really the thing. So if you can put some things in place that you can measure that can give you successes beside for just one weight loss, for example, that would probably be the biggest thing to keep people motivated. And then again, it's having a coach, being kept accountable, being told what to do. It's a great Kickstarter. It just is. You
Yeah.
need it, I need it. I had a guy one time I invested into. I paid him $1,000 a month to keep me accountable to read books. That's it.
That's huge.
$1,000 every month. He sent me one book. I met with him mid-month, reviewed like what did I learn from the book, and then he gave me a second book. And that was really the flow.
That's so interesting.
Weird, you know what I mean? But it was like because I should read. Like it would be really good for me. I know like successful people read. You need information in some shape or form. And I just never really had success with it. I always started and stopped and never finished a book. And then it was just kind of like that process with having some successes and be like, wow, I really read that book like really fast. Boom, next one. Boom, next one. Then I got a Kindle. Then I started reading even faster. Now I'm literally eating books for breakfast.
Is the importance of that investing in yourself? What do you say, Simon?
Yeah, again, it goes back to it's like, dude, I'm telling you, it's like people that talking about fitness again, people that want to bark around a fitness app that costs $100 a month, or even a fitness program that costs $500 a month, $1,000 a month. Dude, I will do you a favor and charge you $1 million a month. That's the point.
That's huge.
The more it hurts, the more you pay attention. The more you pay, the more you pay attention.
Yeah, no, you're right. Whenever there's anything monetarily attached, it becomes real.
Yeah, like speaking about you and I, we both done sales for many years. There's everything that happens before you ask for money, and then there's everything that happens after you ask for money, right? So everybody can say yes, and I'm really motivated, and it's time for me to change, and I really need to do something about it, right? It's all gain, 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 gain. Boom. Now you have the cross line in the sand when the money is there. Now it's lose, 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 lose. Why? If I don't do it, it's going to cost me a lot of money. If I don't get the results. Now they're real. Like that's when you really test people's commitment.
Right, and that goes back to your point at the beginning about how if I told you in a year from now you'd be guaranteed to lose 20 kilos, I would pay you an ungodly amount of money if I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that just reinforces what you said about faith and belief and discipline.
Yeah.
Because it all comes down to the self.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna do a quick speed round. We're gonna get a quick speed round with Simon. Discipline or motivation?
Discipline.
Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Early mornings or late nights?
Early mornings.
Consistency or intensity?
Consistency.
Comfort or growth?
Well, growth. But comfort is like we all do it as human beings. It sounds cool to say you want to have growth all the time, but yeah, like growth, of course.
That's incredible. That's all for me, Simon.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's it?
That's it.
What do you so let me ask you a couple of questions,
Okay.
What's what's been the biggest takeaways from you hanging around here in Bali so far?
Certainly community.
Yeah.
I'll give you the same answer you gave me.
Yeah.
If you're hanging around 5 people who are better than you, you're bound to be the 6th.
Yeah.
When there's people working out, good food, sunny days, but it's most importantly the accountability and the community that come with that. I see myself becoming a different person, with new goals and refined goals, just being around a great community. So I would say, plainly answer, vanilla is great community. People like yourself, Simon.
Yeah. And what would you say to those people that, because how old are you again? 22?
20.
20. Fucking hell, 20. What would you say to those people that would like to do what you're doing or would like to do what I'm doing, and it kind of like, it just seems too far away? What do they need to do? Because there's logistics and then there's mental.
Yeah. To be honest with you, you inspired me with this. I think it's just do it. Whether you'll never be fully prepared, and Hormozi talks about this. I think just jumping into it and seeing, okay, let's figure this, we'll figure it throughout the way kind of thing, as opposed to procrastinating and the analysis paralysis kind of thing. If I never sign up with power, I'll never get in shape. Let's just do it. Let's get into it, and the results will come.
Yeah.
It comes down to the self. It's faith.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is the biggest thing. It's like, just do it.
Yeah. Why do you think then people have such a hard time making decisions or just do it?
I think people get caught up in their own mental trap, and they have familial expectations, societal expectations, and most importantly, people care too much about how other people perceive them, about how they're expressing their own energy out into the world. So as opposed to life happening, letting life happen to them, you need to take charge and happen to life kind of thing. And that's why I think it's important to have accountability coaches or to have good people around you. You just need to dive into it, not wait for the right moment, because it'll never come.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think we're being reinforced with good or bad all the time, right? Like,
Right.
look to the left, before you go over the road. Like, don't touch the stove. Like, it's reinforces of either pain and pleasure again. I don't know. Like, the more and more I speak on podcasts right now, the more and more I hear myself talking about pain and pleasure and behaviors. Because I truly believe that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I was talking to a guy yesterday at the gym, and he said, if you get in the right boat, you don't need to paddle so hard. But if you get in the wrong boat, you'll need to paddle very hard. And so when he said that to me, it really resonated, because if you have good people around you and you get into the right boat in a growing industry or with the right person or with the right coach, I think you don't need to paddle very hard. You just need to follow the plan.
Yeah.
3 meals a day, 10,000 steps, and you're going to hit your goal.
Yeah.
Regardless of everything else that's happening in life. And a lot of your clients are entrepreneurs who are busy and have such hectic schedules. Lay out the plan and just do it. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it is that simple.
It is.
It's also that simple to make money. You know what I mean? Like, there's a million ways you can make money. There's a million ways you can get in shape. It's just the simple things oftentimes is not the most straightforward thing. It's like, again, it just comes back to what do I want and what am I not willing to settle for? Right? What do I want and what am I not willing to settle for? Because I think a lot of people, they're just, again, it goes back to the environment. You're being shaped by whatever you're growing up with and whatever you have around you. Just look around in the world. Most people, like, let's just use metrics. Most people make within the same amount of money in most Western countries. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Most people are out of shape.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Why is that? It
Why?
doesn't matter. It's in Denmark or US or Australia or Germany. Most people are. And I think that's the real thing.
Yeah.
My life changed when I moved. Period. And I've probably been lucky that I had a natural, ability to, or a natural curiosity, I would say, to like leaving and going out and moving. I think some people, they don't have that. They don't want to. They don't see the interest in it. But when I moved overseas, everything else in my life changed. I have a funny story, actually. My phone, I don't know what happened to my phone. You have the iCloud backup and that sort of thing. The day before I left Denmark to move to Australia, something happened with my phone. So everything that I did and have done prior to the day before I left is erased out of my life.
Wow.
Yeah. So the only pictures I have is actually Facebook uploads from back then.
And how do you think that changed your identity going forward? If you did have that iCloud storage and you were able to reference those old pictures of who you used to be, how can you take that experience and say, was it faith that those iCloud storage pictures were deleted and you stepped into a new identity? Is that kind of how it worked?
I think there's something happened there for sure. You know what I mean? I don't know if that, in particular, it would be quite cool actually to have all the pictures and videos now of me doing stupid things. But there are still some out there. But it was definitely a spiritual, like, I remember walking, like when I said goodbye to my family and stuff, and I walked through the gate. I still remember that as it was yesterday, dude. It's like, because I knew subconsciously I wouldn't admit it. I just thought, yeah, fuck it. It's a one-way ticket. I can always come back. You know, it's easy. But deep down, subconsciously, I knew that was goodbye.
Mm.
And it was just like, it was such a like, what's going to happen feeling.
Yeah, you didn't know what's gonna happen.
Nothing. But there was that tiny little seed of like, something great is going to happen. As a
And at
result of
that
it.
point, how big were you on Instagram?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Zero.
Zero.
Like I was, doing my fitness and stuff back then, but nothing. Zero.
So you blindly stepped in to a whole new world with basically nothing
Yeah,
other than faith going for you.
nothing, dude. Like I didn't even, I wasn't an entrepreneur there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wasn't, I left Denmark and then went to Thailand, traveled around 2 weeks and just did what a young 22-year-old does. Went to Australia. Again, faith, it's long story short is I'm literally landing in the airport, get to talk to a guy next to me on the bus into the city, and we befriend each other, and he ended up texting me the next day and say, hey, we need a labor, for my boss tomorrow. Do you want to join? And boom, that was my job for a year and a half in Australia when I came. Climbing trees and
What did that teach you about what you currently do? That small fragmented piece of your life, that job. What values do you hold with you to this day from that job? I'm curious personally.
I definitely learned the culture, the language and stuff, because when I came there, my English was very basic, so I had to learn all that. So I just worked with that boss, 55 years old. It was me and him, and he took me around town, took me into the family and stuff. But I've actually, all my jobs prior have always been physical. Labor, working outside, farm, welder. Like I've always done physical labor jobs up till then. And that was also a physical labor job. So I cherish hard work.
Wow.
Lifting
and now
stuff.
your job today kind of requires more of a fine balance between that hard work and the mindset as well, because you're constantly coaching clients.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. You're taking a new step. So what's your next step, Simon? Your next 5 years, what does it look like?
Probably a wife and 2 kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah?
I think that could be quite cool. Maybe 2 or 3 kids. Let me see. Where's she gonna be from? What about Greek women? Are they good?
Macedonian and women are
Macedonian.
good.
Do you like Macedonian?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Greek women can work too.
Yeah.
Greek women can work too.
Yeah. So definitely, yeah. Figure something out. I see myself building, not just a business, but I see myself building a platform, right? And whatever that falls into that can be what we do right now. Coaching is definitely part of it. Corporate, coaching is definitely there. Clothing, supplementation. Like I'm really just seeing as how can you branch a platform out that all have one common theme, which is helping people become better, right?
Power.
Power.
Where does power come from?
Dude, man, like it's great. You look it up. Just type it in here after the podcast, and you type in the word power. What's the definition?
Okay.
Right? And within that definition, there's like 8 different ones and different meanings and different associations. But when you read that, you will feel either this is not resonating with me or this is resonating with
I'm
me.
sure it will.
And when I figure out that thing, I was like, because I was rebranding 2 or 3 years ago. It used to be called, my business was registered as SciFit, so Simon Fit, SI Fit. Really original, 2018. Like I just had to put something in. And then it's been called many different things over the years, like Legendary Lean, because I was always called Legend. I always said Legend. Hey, what's up, Legend? What's up, Legend? So it was Legendary Lean, Legendary Living. And it just never really resonated,
Okay.
And I've also gone through very different iterations of who do we want to work with, what do we want to stand for, and what do we actually do. So power is really just a fine-tuning of all that over the years of me evolving, me looking differently, sounding differently, becoming different, and then catering to a different avatar and a different market over the years. And when I rebrand Power, I was sitting at Body Factory, and I've been working on it for a long time, working on different things, testing different things. And I'm sitting with my journal, and I'm literally just writing out all the, I don't even know the words, acronyms.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? I will actually see if I can find the page. It's so funny. But like, I'm writing out 20 of them. And I'm just looking up and down. Power.
Power.
Power stands out. Power. And I'm taking up my phone and I'm typing. I'm not kidding. Typing in the definition of power, and I'm reading all the definitions and putting them together mentally. And I'm like, boom, that's the name.
Without the E though.
Yeah, that's the smart thing.
That's the smart thing.
All the big brands in the world, they all work on four letters. You know.
Yeah.
Nike.
Kind.
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 No, it's just. I think, like, a name has to have a meaning to it. Like, it has to have an association. And Nike, what does Nike mean? Don't really know, but there's probably a Greek, isn't it? Nike is like winning or something in Greek. But I learned that from Russell Brunson many years ago. It's like, when you can get people to self-identify themselves with whatever you're doing, the movement, the name, or whatever you are, peddling, and they can put themselves into I am behind it, then you have a winning thing. It can't be about you. It can't be about like, Grant Cardone, why did 10x become such a big thing?
Yeah.
Right? Because you can see yourself into it. It's a way of thinking. It's a multiplier. It's an expansion. What is power? Again, power can mean this. Power can mean that. Power can mean this for you. And that's bought the domain straight away. I was fucking pumped up. Like, I just knew this is going to take off.
That's deep. So, power means so many things. If I'm someone, 42-year-old living in Ohio, looking at the podcast today, right? Just give one comment of free sauce to the viewers. Like, let's do this in a week. What would you say to just start getting in shape?
Yeah. Like, as simple as it sounds, yeah. Because it's like, what's the lowest barrier of entrance? Like, what's the lowest barrier of like confidence? Right?
Right.
Like, for you to make a business work and make $1 million, like, there's so many layers and multiple skills and time that goes into that. For you to get in shape, all you need is your fucking 2 hands and 2 feet, and then you get going.
Yeah.
Right? So that would be the. Everybody should have a 6-pack. At least one time in their life, because as you said, then you figure out like, life is pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you choose like, oh, I don't need a 6-pack. I don't need a nice car. I don't need a nice house. Nah, but if you could choose and you would still be able to be you, what would you do? Like,
No, you're right.
sanity, bro.
Yeah. You have a 6-pack or you have a Greek pack?
Greek pack. What's the Greek pack? That's too many
Greek-
falafels or whatever you have.
Too much tzatziki, too much paidakia, yeah. Too much baklava. Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
But that's another thing to it as well, because that goes against that. So like, how do you then argue against the successful business guy, the Greek guy? Lots of money, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, but he's out of shape. And he enjoys life, because remember we talked about go to Greece,
Yeah.
and you will see everybody enjoy their life.
Yeah.
So there's an argument against that as well. You know what I mean? So like, what do you say there?
I think honestly that, when it comes to a traditional Greek family, obviously the man's job is to support the family, and that can be caught up with, okay, I'm providing for the family, so I don't have to be in the best shape of my life.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, push it off the side. But I start to realize that it does matter, and it becomes the pinnacle of everything else. So I think having a coach, especially for the successful Greek guy, is super important.
Yeah.
That's like abs or alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even the Greek guy, like guys. It's
Like
it's
yamas,
everyone.
bro. Like
Yamas, yeah, ouzo.
If you just drink 4 shots of ouzo instead of 12,
Yeah.
you'd be in a good spot.
Yeah, I have a good buddy of mine. So he's here. I will introduce you to him when he's back from the holiday. Wayne is his name. He's a great guy, 44, And he had an incident, crazy story, dude. Like less than a year ago, in January or February this year, he went for a massage, right?
A
And
massage.
massage, yeah.
Okay.
Finishing up the massage, right? And the lady, she's doing the neck and whatever they're doing over here. And it must literally just have been a coincidence, but she's massaging his neck and she's pressing on an artery and breaks it. So he ends up with a freaking bleeding in his brain,
Oh.
completely collapsed, like blacked out, start vomiting, and get rushed to hospital. And yeah, that was a 6 months. Like he was back to normal-ish, but like really, like it took a long time for him to sort of like recover mentally and like have the balance and these sort of things back again. My point with my story is like he's always been on the go, always could pound like 15 drinks, runs a business, right? Not in his best shape as he would like to, but he got the positive feedback loop around this is what we do. This is how we make business. I am in my best like self when I'm drinking, when I'm out, and when I'm, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like his identity was drinking equals positive feedback loop. Drinking means more money. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Where you ask me means no drinking means more money.
More money. Yeah.
You,
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Personally, I agree. Yeah.
But say that to half of the population. Or just take all, 40 plus year old men in Greece, Mexico, even the US, like in a lot of places. There'll probably be a good half and half ratio around, no, this is what we do. This is how we get business.
It's the culture. It really is. Even in like finance industry in New York, like you go out after work, like that's what you do. And business is conducted that way. Right? The traders talk to the bankers talk to the traders, they come up with ideas and stuff. So it's like
Right, yeah.
how are you gonna do that if you don't drink? Get sparkling water at the bar, no problem.
But so how do you do that then? Because it's like, you can't just say, just drink sparkling water and just do that. What would you do?
Espresso martini, no alcohol. That's what that's what I do when I go out sometimes. Like I just get sparkling water or a mocktail. And people are accepting of the fact. I mean, I actually respect it.
Because it's really only in the moment when you order it,
really
right?
Only in the moment. That's it. It's like a quick peak.
Yeah.
Just like everything else, it's like short-term pleasure. It's like, it's 5 seconds of ha-ha.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
it fades. So that's why I just do sparkling water or mocktails.
But it's a little bit the same as like if you take a normal coffee or a decaf, right? So it's almost like the people in itself, they want the alcohol, right? Because they think it's not really real.
Well, for me, I don't want it at all.
No, I get that.
I just do it to be socially accepted.
Yeah.
Accepted. That's it. For me. But there's other instances out there where people, actually want it, and we can get into a whole rabbit hole of.
Yeah, it's just fascinating, because I get it, to be honest. Like, I do get it. It's like, again, it's back to what's normal. What's normal to do. Some people do cocaine, like.
Yeah. And you were talking about, like, before, like, this average archetype. But I think, like, a lot of people who are watching the podcast and a lot of people who join Power, they don't want to be average. They understand that not average outcomes require not average inputs. And Harmozy talks about this. It's like, if you want to be average and overweight and make whatever it is, $40,000 in the U.S. a year, you can do that easily. Congrats, you'll be 99% of the population. But if you want to be in the top, even 10% or 20%, like you just got to try a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Yeah. Well, what would you say to those guys, though? Because it's like, let's say it's 90% of people. Like I'm just using, again, like I can use my own family, my sister and them, like traditional, both working, 2 kids, 3 kids actually, but, mortgage.
Yeah, we're very similar.
And no time left over. What do you, because I get it from their point of view, and then I'm also just like, but we'll do something, you know what I mean? Do something different.
Yeah, I think that's what it comes down to. It's just putting down the social media, just delete it for like a week, And don't get distracted. Just have your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you'll start to see. And then when you start to have your own thoughts, like then you can get a coach and start going that way. But like you gotta be able to think for yourself.
But what do you think it's a? Do you think it's a? Well, it is a mindset thing.
It's totally a mindset thing.
Yeah.
There's no way. Like if you work 9 to 5 during the day, you come home and then you sit on the couch 5 to 9.
Yeah.
That's your fault. I mean, you gotta go for 10K steps at least. Like it's hard. Life is hard. But you still gotta do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not negotiable.
But what do you think in terms of like, how would the average person, like obviously getting in shape, like you can do that. There's no excuse, right? Like, but like, how would the quote unquote average person get out of the rat race beside for becoming an entrepreneur? Which I don't think most people should, by the way.
Holistically or health specific?
I'm thinking money, dude. I'm thinking
Money.
Opportunities.
I was talking to the guy yesterday at the pool at Body Factory, the same one that said, get in the right boat and you don't have to row so hard. He said, entrepreneurship comes with true freedom, but everyone has a different path. So, like, you have your own thoughts and your own ideas, and you just got to pursue it. Like, you can't write a plan. Like, this guy, he has 200 million in annual revenue, super successful, and, like, he literally told me, like, he reads, like, Joe Dispenza, all these mindset and spiritual guys, and he's like, everyone has their own path. Like, the best I can do is just give you ideas, but you need to pursue what your own mind tells you, and just like set goals worth setting. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's thinking different thoughts to get different outcomes. And as you say, if you're in that mix of like just 9 to 5, social media, kids, stressed out, like I can't do anything. So basically what I hear you say is like the limitation is simply just they need to get out of their own mix and start thinking different think.
That's it. And that's why like you inspire me. So many people at the gym inspire me because like it's just different thinking. It's different thinking, different environment, different community, different goals. You want more, you want to conquer the world. Like that's what we want to do. Like people don't want to get better, and that's a problem in my eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, you're in a good spot, dude. You're 20 years old and you're traveling around and you are, putting yourself into rooms. Like I've seen how you interact with people at the gym and stuff. Like even the way you and I we met, right? Like you're open, you're asking questions, you're interested in other people. I think that's the attributes to get ahead.
Yeah, bro.
I think most people aren't.
100%.
Right?
Let's just do it.
Just do it, baby.
Yamas.
Yamas, baby. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
Let's roll, yeah.
Well,
Do you have more on the tap, or what do you want to do?
that wraps up today's REF experience. This conversation certainly hit home. Simon, thank you for being here.
My man.
Be sure to subscribe, like the video, and we'll be powered for future podcasts. Let's go.
Let's roll.